Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Rick Fussell and this is the Ingrain Workshop. In today's video we're going to be building this mobile cart for my shop vac and my Dustopper cyclone separator. The cart comes with convenient cord storage. It also comes with storage for all your shop vac accessories, and it also comes with a convenient hose storage. That's all coming up next here at the Ingrain Workshop. So this is my rigid portable shop vac. For the longest I was just using the shop vac, and then I decided to get the Dustopper cyclone separator with just a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket. So what I did is I built this plywood caddy which slides over the shop vac, and then it has a square holder for the 5-gallon bucket. And this is what I used for the longest, just so it's more easily moved around the workshop. The problem is on the bottom of the shop vac, you got these little 1.5-inch casters, and it's just really hard to move it around the workshop. I primarily use this for when I'm sanding, and then when I want to just clean up at individual workstations around the workshop, I'll wheel it around the workshop. The problem is it gets tangled up on everything. So in today's video, what I would like to do is build a plywood cart that has some larger casters on it. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to repurpose the casters that were on my original Grizzly dust collection system. Since I now have floor mounted that, I now have those casters which I can take and put on the plywood cart that I'm going to build for this portable one. That way I can simply move it around the workshop. I'm going to build a hose rack for it, just for a practical storage solution. As you can see right now, just have it wrapped around the dust separator. And then also I've got a accessory caddy here on the back. I'm going to remove that along with the wheels, and then just when I do the new cart in today's video, I'm going to build new storage solutions for all the accessories, along with a storage rack for the power cord. So I'm going to go ahead and start out by just disassembling everything. I'm going to go ahead and take the wheels off the shop vac, and then go ahead and measure for the footprint of both the shop vac and the cyclone or dust separator. Alright, the first thing I need to do is figure out the overall size of this cart. With the shop vac disassembled, I can measure the base of the unit. Since the base flares out a bit, instead of guessing, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap 3/4-inch plywood and make a quick template to get the exact footprint I need for the bottom of the cart. Once I've got that figured out, I'll move on to breaking down some 3/4-inch plywood. I've got a factory edge on one side, so I'm going to make a quick freehand cross cut with a circular saw to get it manageable. Then I'll take it over to the table saw and make my final cut, squaring it up to 15 inches by 15 inches for the bottom of the cart. With the bottom cut out, I'll start working on the sides. Since I lost the factory edge on this piece, I'll use my joiner jig at the table saw to clean up one straight edge first. Once that edge is good, I'll register it against the fence and rip the side piece down to 15 inches wide. I'll repeat that same process for the other side piece. Next, I'll start by cross-cutting both side pieces here at the table saw to their final length of 30 inches. Next, I'll lay out the profile for the sides. I'll measure up 4 inches from the bottom, then over 4 inches from the front edge. Using my square, I'll connect those two marks with a 45-degree line. That angled cut will create the profile for each side piece. The reason the sides taper in at the top is because the 5-gallon bucket has a smaller footprint than the rigid shop vac. The bucket footprint is right around 11 inches square, so I don't need the full width all the way up. To start cutting out the profile, I'll head back to the table saw. With the fence set to 11 inches, I'll make a rip cut, but this needs to be a stop cut. You can see the blue painter's tape on the fence. That's just a visual reminder of where I'll need to stop the cut. From there, I'll move over to the miter saw and make the 45-degree angle cut. I'll finish everything off with a flush cut pull saw, then clean it up with a chisel. Before moving on, I'll do a quick dry fit just to make sure everything is lining up the way it should. I cut out a 15 by 11 inch square spacer to act as a positive stop. I know it kind of looks like a shelf the 5-gallon bucket would sit on, and honestly, that may have been the original idea, but I decided to hang the bucket instead. That way it makes removing both the bucket and the shop vac a lot easier when it's time to empty them. Next, I'll pull the casters off my old Grizzly 3 horsepower dust collector. I'll also leave a link in the description where you can pick up some 4-inch casters on Amazon if you don't already have some on hand. Back at the table saw, I'll rip 4 lateral support pieces at 4 inches wide. These will make up the front and back supports for both the top and bottom of the cart. Then over at the miter saw, I'll clean up one end, and with my stop block set at 16 3/8 of an inch, I'll cut out all 4 pieces to their final length. Okay, so now that I have all the parts cut out, I'll just do a quick review. This is the bottom, and this measures 15 inches square. These are the 4 lateral supports. There's 2 at the bottom and then 2 at the top of the cabinet. These measure 4 inches wide by 16 3/8 of an inch long. And then these are the 2 sides. They're cut at 30.5 inches long by 11 inches at the top and 15 inches down at the bottom. And then what I did is I just measured up 4 inches from the bottom and then just made a 45-degree angle to the 11-inch width and then took that cut all the way up. And that's how the 2 sides were cut. So the next thing I'm going to do, since this is shop furniture, I'm not that worried about the joinery. I just want to make sure it's strong. So I'm probably going to go ahead and use some pocket hole screws, some 1¼ inch pocket hole screws. So the next thing we'll do is drill out for the pocket hole screws. Then we'll glue everything together and go ahead and get it assembled. I'll probably sand it before we get it assembled. With the pocket holes drilled and all the sanding done, I can finally start assembling the cart. I'll begin by fastening the bottom panel to one of the side pieces, making sure everything stays square as I go. I'm going to use my corner squares here to make sure everything stays square and at 90 degrees to each other. I'll apply some glue to the edge of the bottom panel, clamp it to the side, and once it's all locked in place, I'll drive in some 1¼ inch pocket screws to fasten everything together. I'll repeat that same process for the other side. Then using the 11 by 15 inch spacer as a positive stop, I can install the front and back lateral supports. Once those are in place, I can remove the spacer and install the 2 bottom lateral supports. With the cart fully assembled, I'll do a quick test fit to make sure the rigid shop vac and the 5-gallon bucket fit exactly how I planned. After that, I can install the repurposed casters on the bottom of the cart and take it for a spin, literally. With the cart construction complete, I can shift my focus to a few upgrades and accessories. I'll start with some dust collection accessory storage. For this, I'm using an 1¼ PVC conduit, and I'll cut it down into 5-inch lengths over at the miter saw. As you can see, 1¼ PVC is a little too small for most dust collection accessories, so I'll need to flare out one end to get a snug fit. To do that, I'll heat up the PVC with a heat gun. Once it's hot enough, I'll use the appropriate hole saw to flare out the end out just enough so the accessory fits perfectly. After the PVC cools down, I'll use a piece of rigid conduit, straddle the pipe with my vise, and hammer the hole saw bit back out. Next, over at the drill press, I'll drill 2 1/8-inch holes all the way through the PVC. Then I'll switch to a 5/8-inch bit and drill out just one side of the pipe. Once that's done, I'll give everything a coat of black paint to finish it off. Next up, I'll cut 2 side rails to help hold the lip of the 5-gallon bucket in place. With these side rails installed, the bucket will have 4 solid contact points. I'm also going to use these rails to store my 2 shop vac extension wands. To make them, I'll start at the table saw and rip 2 pieces at 2½ inches wide. Just like I did with the side panels, I'll make a second rip on those same pieces at 2 inches wide, stopping 2½ inches from the end. Then I'll make a 45-degree cut, just like with the sides, but on a smaller scale. Next, over at the drill press, I'll use a 1 7/8-inch hole saw drill bit to drill a hole on the 2½ inch side of the ends. These holes will hold the 2 extension wands in place. Once that's done, I'll fasten the rails to the top using pocket hole screws. Then I can drop the bucket in place and slide the extension wands in to make sure everything fits the way it should. Next up, I'll tackle the cord storage. For this, I'm making a set of cord handles. Each handle will be 2 inches by 4 inches with a single 2x2 spacer, and I'll make 2 of them total. To round everything over, I'll use some double-sided tape to stack the pieces together. I'll take 2 2-inch wide pieces, lay out a half circle on the end, and then head over to the miter saw to remove most of the waste. From there, I'll clean everything up at the vertical belt sander, sanding right up to my layout line. Once the spacers are glued on, I can mount the cord handles to the sides of the cart. I'll use a few scrap pieces at the top, in the front and back as positive stops so I can position the handles consistently. Then I'll pre-drill and countersink for an 1¼ inch screw to fasten the handles securely to the cart. Now it's time to install the shop vac accessory pipe mounts. To install everything consistent, I've set up a positive stop using some scrap plywood, 3 inches down from the top of the cart. From there, I'll evenly space the 4 pipe mounts. I'll start by threading a couple of number 8 by 3/4 inch screws into the mount so they stick proud about a 1/16 of an inch. Then I can line the mount up with my positive stop and layout line, apply a little pressure, and create 2 small dimples in the plywood. Those dimples will give me the perfect reference so I can pre-drill with an 1/8 inch bit, making sure not to drill all the way through the cart. Once the holes are drilled, I'll screw the pipe mounts to the cart through the 5/8 inch hole I drilled earlier in the PVC. After that, I'll just repeat the same process for the remaining 3 accessory mounts. For the final cart assembly, I'm installing the hose handle. This one's built similar to the cord handles, except it measures 2 inches by 6 inches and uses 2 2-inch spacers to account for the thickness of the hose. I glued and screwed the spacers to the handle to keep everything solid. To install it on the side of the cart, I'm using another positive stop at the top. I lay the handle out centered in the side at 5½ inches. Using a little CA glue and accelerator, I'll temporarily fasten the handle in place. Then from inside the cart, I'll pre-drill and fasten it with 2 GRK screws. And with that, the cart is complete. Almost. With most of my projects, I've got to burn my brand into it. Kind of like a rite of passage, or kind of like a cow at an auction. And like everything else in the workshop, it's either getting golden pecan, special walnut, or both. For this one, I'm going with special walnut. I'll wipe it on and wipe it off just like Mr. Miyagi taught us. Once the stain dries, I'll apply a few coats of water-based polyurethane, and after that, you can stick a fork in this one. We're done. Let's take a quick look at the finished cart. Starting off with a full 360 view, this build keeps everything compact, organized, and easy to move around the shop. Next, I'll drop the rigid shop vac into place and wrap the cord around the built-in cord handles to keep it clean and out of the way. From there, the 5-gallon bucket and Dustopper cyclone separator slide right in, giving me solid dust separation without taking up extra space. Now I can load up the accessories. All 4 dust collection attachments snap into their own dedicated pipe mounts, so they're always right where I need them. The 2 extension wands slide into the side supports, keeping them secure but easy to grab. With everything in place, I'll connect the hose from the shop vac to the Dustopper, then attach the main hose and wrap it neatly around the hose handle. And to finish it off, one more 360 spin to show just how much functionality I was able to pack into a simple mobile cart. Well, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then please hit that like and share button. It really helps us out. If you're new to the channel and you like DIY and woodworking projects, then I highly recommend that you smash that subscribe button. It's free and painless, and it also asks that you ring that bell icon. That way you can be notified of all our upcoming videos. To all my existing subscribers, I really appreciate all the support you give this channel. I'll leave links in the video description below to any tools and equipment that I might have used on this build. And until next time, I'm Rick with the Ingrain Workshop. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.
Thank you.